down to Carolina, place where I was born.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
I've got a song for you.
Hello, this is Grandpa Ron, and today we're going to talk about RV versus airline trips. We recently made a trip in the RV to Boston, and we also flew from San Diego to Boston and back. So let's do a comparison and see how they stack up. Of course, cost is not the only consideration, especially considering the RV travel is going to take you a lot longer. But then again, who just hops on a plane and takes off these days? The thing about air travel is all the travel stress is condensed into one day, at least one day going and one day coming back. Whereas in the RV, it's spread out over your trip, so it's not quite so severe. Kind of starts with packing everything you might possibly need on your trip. When you're flying, you got to check your baggage. It's going to cost you money, so you can put as much stuff as you can into your suitcase, but it can get pretty heavy and you might not have everything. So it can be a little stressful trying to squeeze it all in. And then getting to the airport, we used Lyft on our last trip. It worked out pretty well. Don't talk to me about the long lines at TSA, especially on holidays.
It's forced to close security checkpoints, leading to scenes like this.
Or during that government shutdown, it was terrible. Some people were in line a couple hours. I mean, normally it's 25 minutes, but you never really know. Traveling with bags used to be pretty easy. Back in the day, it was all free, so you could just, check anything you wanted. But today, we're more inclined to use carry-on if we can. I don't know about you, but when I bring carry-on, sometimes I worry about finding space for it, because it seems like everybody wants to bring carry-on these days. When I buy an airline ticket, I assume I'm going to get a seat on the plane, because that's really required by regulations, isn't it? Flying on American, you don't get a seat unless you fork out a little extra dough up front. Turns out American Airlines is out of Fort Worth, Texas. They have a lot of experience moving people. This diagram shows how you get through the TSA area, also known as the trap area, moving on to the holding pens or the gate, and then just kind of like crowding together. They get into the gate, down the aisle, through the airline door, and into your seat, way in the back of the plane. So will I have room for my carry-on? So will the people sitting next to me be naughty or nice? I've had situations where there's crying babies on the flight. The toddler behind me keeps sitting in my seat. It gets really annoying. My wife has allergies to dogs, so that's always consideration, trying to find a spot that there's no dogs nearby. And we finally make it to the airport. You got to deal with the rental car people. It's like, man, last time we went, we rented through EZ. Well, it might have been easy, but it wasn't easy to get away from that gate. They asked me, did I want four-wheel drive? There's going to be a storm coming. Do I need a bigger vehicle? Do I need GPS in it? And also the Easy Pass. What a ripoff. That Easy Pass, they charge $7 a day for it. And all the tolls that I had in Boston was a $2 toll twice. So why would I spend $56 versus $4? I don't get it. Anyway, once you get the car all figured out, it gives you a chance to relax a little bit and drive around. When we took the RV out to New England last fall, it was at a great time. The fall colors were coming out, so it was really nice to be able to drive on some of those scenic roads through upstate New York, some of those back roads and minor highways. The colors were beautiful. We had some reds, oranges, yellows. When you're traveling by air, if you got a window seat, you can look out. You might get views of the city or the airport. Sometimes at night you see the lights. If you got an aisle seat, then you get a good view of how to put your seatbelt on. You never know when you might need one. Some of those flights can get pretty breezy. Other than that, you can watch the flight attendants pass out the beverages and keep an eye out for free snacks. I always get those. Otherwise, there isn't really too much to see in an airplane. After a couple hours in the flight, you might be thinking about hitting the head. You're going to have to go use the head while the thing is jumping around and moving in the closed little space. So hope you don't get motion sickness. Not only do you have to get the other two people to get up and get out of your way, usually by the time that happens, there's two other people in line and now you're over the limit. So what do? Stare at the ceiling, avoid eye contact, Best plan, don't drink anything at least 2 hours before boarding. In an RV, the freeways and the highways can be kind of boring. Driving through towns gives you a chance to see the sights, see the people, see what some of the other states look like. Smells a little bit like beef here. There are some excellent scenic drives that you can plan along your route. Another thing in an RV, you have a lot more freedom. You can get up and move around when you want to. If you want to get a drink or a snack or something while you're driving, it's great, easy to do. Try to do that in an airplane. You can also plan your route so that you can stop at friends or family along the way. It's always nice to mooch off them for a couple of nights. Don't let me get started about the seats. These babies are pretty nice compared to those hard Airline seats with no knee space. The hardest thing about RV travel is you might have long days of driving. When we were coming back, we were kind of in a little bit of a hurry, so we were averaging over 300 miles a day, so it's probably about 7 hours of driving. The fun things you can do on an airplane is, well, look out the window or watch a movie on those little 9-inch screens with the jet engine a few feet away, howling away. So maybe not your best movie-going experience. It's either that or play around with your phone, your laptop, try to while away the time, or even get a little nap in if it's a long flight. In the RV, you get to be able to stop at points of interest. Mount Rushmore, for example, we stopped out on the way out. You can kind of pick and choose where you want to go and what you want to see. Coming back, we've stopped in St. Louis and went and saw the Arch and the Mississippi River. That was kind of nice. We had free parking and stayed there for a few hours and saw the sights, and it was pretty interesting. We're going to go check out the big arch, the
Gateway Arch.
The Gateway Arch. We also stopped and saw some family along the way. Stopped at my brother's in New York for a night, and my daughter in Colorado. Spent 2 nights there, so kind of breaks up the driving a little bit. You don't have to do it all at once. Okay, now the cost. How much does it cost to RV versus airline fares? For our airline trip, we flew in January. It was just after the holiday season, so the fares were starting to come down. So on the flight days, it cost us $500 for the airline ticket and the Lyft transit back and forth. Our car rental was $34 a day. The hotel was $112 a day. And for food, we spent about $50. So that comes out to $196 per day, or $980 for the trip. Overall, our 5-day trip, including airfare, cost $1,980, or roughly $400 a day. Now, the RV trip we made in the fall, well, drive-in, the fuel cost for us was $82 a day, and food and restaurants was another $30. We spent 4 nights at campgrounds for $145 total. The other nights were free. We're either at Family, Walmart, Cracker Barrels, or we could park somewhere. Overall, we had 18 days of driving to get from San Diego to Boston and back. And we stayed in Boston for 7 days at Family's place, so it didn't cost us anything. So the whole trip cost us $2,156, or about $86 a day. So we spent a little over $2,100 for the RV and just under $2,000 for the airline. So what? The airline cost less? But wait, the RV trip took us 25 days. That includes food that we would have been eating if we weren't traveling. If I factor out the food, then the RV trip actually costs us $75 less than the airline trip. The biggest difference is the amount of time that it takes. For our RV travel, we were gone 25 days, which of course included a week in Boston. The airline trip took 5 days, but there was 2 days where it was pretty much just travel, so we only really had 3 days in Boston. Anyway, this is Grandpa Ron. Enjoy your trip, no matter which way you go. Have fun, and I'll see you on the road.